Good evening, everyone, and a very warm welcome to this official launch of Util Pulse, the product that has been developed in-house by Utilitarian Labs. On behalf of Utilitarian Labs, I would like to thank all our customers, partners, well-wishers who have joined us today, along with all of you. Some of them who have joined us online on the YouTube channel, which is where this program is going live. Today is a very special milestone for all of us. As all of you know, we are launching officially Util Pulse, a workforce visibility and productivity intelligence platform designed for the modern B2B organizations. Today's session is not just going to be a presentation, it is going to be a product journey, right? A journey that we are going to take starting from today, from this moment. We will show you in today's presentation why Util Pulse was built, what problem it solves, how an organization gets onboarded, how data starts flowing once they get onboarded, and how leaders and managers can use the dashboards, reports, schedule summaries, and AI-powered insights from this product. Just to quickly run through the agenda that we are going to follow today, we will begin with the product vision from our founder and CEO, Ajit Kumar. He will share why Util Pulse was built and the real business problem that actually or eventually led to this product development. After that, Chandan Kumar, our passionate owner of this product, will give a quick preview of the key data points Util Pulse captures and take us through the organization onboarding and admin configuration journey. This will be followed by Prithvi Shirur, the CTO of the organization, who will then show how data starts flowing into the system and how leaders and managers can use dashboards, work insights, and activity streams and real-time visibility. This will be followed by the last session taken by Anand Belur, our Chief Growth Officer, who will take through the reports, scheduled reports, AI assistant, customer adoption journey, and the roadmap ahead. Finally, Ajit will return for the closing note and we will open the session for question and answers. So this is the agenda for this evening. As I invite Ajit to take over from here from me, I would request him to formally launch the product for all of us. That's Util Pulse for all of you. I would, along with Ajit, would take the privilege to invite the brains behind this product, the people who spent sleepless nights to arrive at this moment where we are ready to launch this product. So I would like to name them one by one. May I invite Sanjay, Sholina, Ritvik, Jia Patel, Tapas, Ayush, Pavan, and the product owner Chandan Kumar. These are the people whose effort has gone into this product. In addition to them, there are many other people who have contributed for the success of this product in terms of giving those technological inputs, data inputs, and various other inputs to make this product a successful one. Thank you to all of you. Well done. This is half the job done. The other half is going to start from now, and it will take us to the next milestone. Thank you. Now I would hand over the podium to Ajit to quickly run through his philosophy or his vision in developing this product.
Thank you, Kiran. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Thank you to all of our partners, all of our clients, and a lot of team members who have known us from the past. They have also shown a lot of interest in this launch. I hope my audio is audible.
Yeah.
Okay. A very small story I would like to tell you. Of course, there was a time when we were able to manage things, but that was the time when we had hardly 5 members and there came a time when it was almost 25 to 30 people. We were not able to understand who is there, which project they are handling, who is doing what kind of responsibility they are holding. We had many occasions where we would have gone to someone like admin and asked him that, hey, can you tell me how many people are available today? Hey, would you be able to tell me that whether these resources are available or not to work on these projects, be it ad hoc projects or planned projects, etc. Of course, on different levels, people came with their own recommendation. Uh, I still remember it was almost second year when we installed, let's say, biometric. Of course, biometric was able to tell us that yes, these folks are present today. Then there came a time. Okay, I think it should be audible now. So we had installed biometrics and all. Then there came a time when, according to our experience, according to the challenges we were facing, we installed Jira, okay, task tracking and all, project management and all. And later on, of course, there were tools which can, or there were people who can give us a MIS report every week. For example, I still remember last week itself, I was asking Abhishek and Abhishek Roy Nandi that, hey, can you tell me if there is a small project of next 2 days, who would be able to complete it? And Abhishek Roy Nandi came to me after probably 2 days when that deadline was gone, because he was building a report who all are available. Right? So I mean, yes, of course there are different kind of system available. From biometric you can get to know who all are available. From your Jira and all you can get to know who is working on what. From your time entry system you can get to know who has been built on what project on daily basis in how much efforts of time frequency, right? But still there is something missing, and this we realized almost 3 to 4 years back, that hey, while people are available, tools and technology is there, certain alerts are there, we are not able to find what all things they are doing on daily basis. And of course, while I speak about all these use cases, you may feel like, hey, is this a kind of tracking system? Of course, it is one component of that tracking system, but we will demystify in this entire product launch why it is not just a tracking tool and what it is. There were certain problem statements which I still go that path again. I try to question people that, hey, I have 2 project UATs in this month. Is there enough bandwidth of QA available so that we can conduct those 2 UATs in the right manner? And probably it would take someone some time to understand what all QAs are available, what all testing teams are available, what kind of plan we need to do, etc., etc. And somebody will tell me, hey, this resource is probably occupied because they already have a UAT running. So these are some of the use cases. I had a demo team, a team of close to 8 to 10 people, and I would always have to ask someone in the group that, hey, would you be able to complete a small project within next 2 days? Because I have a demo with someone. And of course, team used to come up, they used to collaborate, they used to make sure work is getting done. But what would happen eventually, to whosoever I would go, do you think I can go to someone who has not interacted with me in the past, who has not delivered something to me in the past? Ideally, whom do I go to? I would go to Isha, I would go to Anjali, I would go to Sandeep. Why? Because they can take tasks from me, they can complete it, so I will always overburden them. I don't have an idea that, hey, there is some person called Anwar sitting in our office and I can give that job to Anwar. But today, I can just type in one of the platform which we have created internally, and we are a customer zero for this. I can just go and type, please tell me all the resources who are idle more than 4 hours. It gives me a list of all the resources, all the projects they are associated with. and probably I would have my mind set up that yes, instead of overloading Sandeep, instead of overloading, let's say, Prithvi, Isha, Anjali, I can probably route this job somewhere else, right? So there are myriad use cases which I can count upon. I can go on and on, but yeah, for that we have our entire demo team. I just wanted to set the expectation that this is not something like a simple tracking tool. It is a tool which will be able to help you in different ways. To start with, let's say, load balancing in any organization. Our tool takes care of all of the employees of a given organization, what kind of skill, what kind of capability they have, what kind of project they get onboarded upon, how much of investment they do from effort side on any project, and we get to know that hey, probably these are the people who are probably burning out a lot. Point number one. These are the people who are idle most of the time. Okay. These are some of the people who are probably on the system but not doing something. Okay. Now, of course, it might sound like policing, but load balancing you might have heard lot of different places. Even if you streamline, let's say, sales process of any customer, people will tell you that hey, I have 100 leads coming in on daily basis, I have 10 people in the organization, we want only 10 leads to be assigned to everyone. Same way even IT and services business works. Same way any organization who have people working on laptop or desktop should work. Whatever jobs, whatever assignment we get, it should not happen that 80% of job is given to those 20% of people who are always getting 80% of job, right? To minimize all those things, we came up with the idea of having this workforce management or workforce analysis platform where we get to know that hey, what is the current state of my workforce, what kind of jobs they are already upon, and probably it gives us a better understanding of whom we can outsource certain other jobs, right? With this, I will take a pause and maybe I will invite on the floor Mr. Chandan, who would be walking you through how few of our customers will get onboarded, how we are utilizing this system in our own organization. And also thanks a lot to all of our customers who have joined online. We have received good number of responses from our existing clients on few of the past campaigns. Earlier we were thinking that we are building this platform for ourselves only, but later we realized no, this could be one of the platform which should be utilized by each and every organization who uses assets like laptop, desktops, and their entire workforce is doing their job on these kind of platforms. With that, I will take a pause. Chandan, now the floor is yours.
Thank you, Ajit, for setting up the context. And as you said in the last, that this tool or this solution has not been built just for organizations like us, which is in IT. This tool can be equally applicable for those organizations or who are in edtech, who are in hospitality, who are in banking or any industry. If your employees or your people are using laptops, right? And if you want to do the, as Ajit said, load distribution or workload, you want to understand that hey, it should not be that 70% of my team or 60% of my team is doing 80% of my job, right, while 40% of my team is not optimally utilized, right? So just to see that how balanced your team is in terms of work, right, you need to have these kind of tools, right? So before I understand that everybody who are present here or who have joined us live, right, would like to us to get quickly into the demo. But before we get into that, right, just a glimpse of the features this solution does offer. You can see smart classification. So before we onboard you, right, or after we onboard you, actually we enable organization to classify whatever applications, whatever portals, whatever websites that their people are using, right? There may be 3,000, 4,000 applications or websites or portals, right? We allow them to first of all classify, that you classify these are the application or website that are productive for us, and these are application or these are website that can be unproductive for us, right? So that is smart classification. Once over the website or application level, this classification has been done. Now, this classification can be multi-layered, right? It can be done at organizational level as well. For example, let's say LinkedIn, right? You may classify that at organizational level, LinkedIn is an unproductive application. If my people are visiting LinkedIn, it can be put under the unproductive application. But for the HR department, let's say, right, the LinkedIn, same LinkedIn for talent hunting can be a productive platform, right? So that overridden option, that overriding option we have provided, right? There will be multi-level classification, org level, then you do have department level, then you do have teams level, and then you do have user level. Now coming to, once this classification has been done, and this is a continuous process, let me tell you, it does not end on day 1 or day 2. This is going to be a continuous process. Coming back, once this has been done, thereafter this solution will start delivering you certain amount of data, right? That wherever to who, how many laptops you have installed this application, right? It will start delivering that how much productive your colleagues, your people are working, and how unproductively on those applications which you have classified as unproductive, right? How much time is being spent on those websites, right? Thereafter, it also offers from a compliance standpoint, right? Also offers the way generally you do see the as an admin you do see CCTV screens on a larger screen, right? So it offers live screen of your colleagues, of course not colleagues. If you are a manager, right, you are leading a team size of 10 people, 20 people, then it offers you live screens and then historical screenshot of all the works that is being done by your teammates, right? That also this tool does offer. Thereafter, resource utilization is something that has already been talked about, that how much loaded your team is, right, or how much of bandwidth availability your team does have. That comes under resource utilization, and in terms of resource utilization, we will have n number of reports. When we'll get into reports and dashboard section, you will get to see, I think Anand sir will cover the reports and dashboard section. Then in reports and dashboard, there are multiple type of reports. Certain reports will be pretty much direct. Then you do have scheduled reports and alerts, right? Alerts, when I'm talking about, you can decide that, hey, if any unproductive application is being visited, or from a compliance standpoint, if certain website has not to be visited, right? Then, and if it is being visited by any of their team members, right? If there is an alert mechanism that organization wants to define, that to the team lead this alert should trigger, or to the management this kind of alert should trigger, that kind of alert mechanism can be configured, right? And thereafter, AI assistant, there is a lot of conversation. We are living in the age of AI, right? So AI insights as well in terms of whatever data points that we'll be talking. So throughout this conversation, we will be talking about somewhere 150 to 200 data points, right, that this solution is going to offer, right? Certain data points, if we can show, right, on the next slide, you can see at one employee level, at one resource level, you can see certain data point, 4 or 5 data point we'll talk right now. So this is a dashboard of a particular employee on whose laptop the agent is installed, right? So 4 or 5 data points you can see right here, like working time, how much from the start of the day, how much time he has spent so far on the laptop, right? Of that time, 7 hours 32 minutes, how much time has been on the focused or productive applications, right? Thereafter, how much time has been spent on unproductive application. Let's say as an organization, your philosophy may be that any social media visits should be counted as unproductive. So if your people are visiting any such application, that will automatically be counted as distracted or unproductive, the terminology difference. And then you do have certain application probably which you have not classified as an organization, then those kind of timings will go on unclassified, right? Unclassified categories. And then in the pie chart format, you can see the percentage of the time that has been spent under different categories. So this was at the employee level. If we can go on to another report that gives us visualization into the teams level data. So we do have, let's say, 4 or 5 teams. Again, based on the industry, the naming convention of the teams can differ. It can be sales team, it can be any team, right? So we do have, let's say, based on our experience, let's say 4 teams we do have. So development team, it may constitute, it may have 10, 12, 50 members, right? Then support team, sales team and operation, and how they have contributed in terms of over a period of time. It can be, these kind of reports can be at the day level, weekly level or monthly level, right? Then you do have, let's say, average days on any given average day, let's say over a period of 30 days or 60 days or for a particular week, right? What is the average spent time by various teams? So these kind of data, I'm not getting into the data. When we'll get into the exact product, right, you will see that plethora of data points that we'll be talking about, right? Now with this, if we can directly jump into the product, if I can request the demo team to directly jump into the product, right? So once you get into the product, right, you are presented with a home screen, right? On the home screen, you will have, based on your role, if you are logging as a HR, if you are logging as someone into the leadership team, if you are logging someone as a manager or someone as a team lead, you will be greeted with certain reports and dashboard. That is again role specific, but reports and dashboard is something that we will not be able to comprehend unless we do not understand that how for the reports and dashboard the data is collected, right? And data understanding as well will not be able to develop, right, unless we do not see that how individuals are onboarded into this solution, right? So if I can request demo team to get into the control center and then quickly show us that how control center looks like. So control center is something, so let's say you are an entity and you have purchased subscription from us of the Util Pulse, right? Then first of all the settings or all the certain basic information you need to provide into this application, right? For organizational onboarding, where you will be providing certain basic information regarding organization, certain legal information, then you will be providing holiday information, you will be providing working hours, you will be providing what all teams that you do have, you will be providing certain departments, right? So at the company level, the entire hierarchy has been divided as per our understanding. As of now, entire hierarchy of any organization has been divided into four categories. At the top, you do have entire organization. Now, this organization can spread across the geographies. It can be within countries. You can have presence over 4 state, 5 state, or you may have spread across let's say entire globe, right? So that can be used, that use cases also can be covered. Let us come to a basic use case where you onboard your organization. Again, for paucity of time, we already have filled the data, right? So you can see all the basic information regarding our organization has already been filled, all the addresses, operational details, right? Then what time that we do work on. Generally, we do work just in one shift. You do, if you do have concepts of multiple shift working, right? That kind of mechanisms are already there. Then who is going to be the admin, right? And then if there are option of having multiple admins, just by a click of button you can add multiple admins, so you all these information you can see. Now if you can move to the top, right, then defining the platform rules, right? So this was the basic information, and this is again, mind you, I'll not take up much of time in onboarding, right? But however, this is going to be the foundation, right? Until and unless you have not provided these basic information regarding work time, regarding holidays, regarding leaves, regarding shifts, right, regarding user onboarding, then we'll not be able to collect the data in right manner. And this solution is primarily about the data, right? So platform rules, I was talking about whether you want to give managers access to certain things, access to, let's say, live screens or not, access to snapshots or not, then AI related certain features, whether you want to give access to your managers to classify certain applications as productive or unproductive or not. Then scheduling the reports, whether you want, as I said, that you might define that, hey, in my organization, if this kind of digital activity is happening, this will be considered as violation. Okay, let's say in an email, certain organization does have a rule that via email you cannot send these kind of documents. Okay, let's say in an email you cannot in the email body you cannot type credit card information. And if credit card information, right, although this is something that Outlook by default does that, but these kind of rules can be configured at this level as well. So organization at its own level, when it comes to document management or when it comes to certain IT policies, right, they want certain actions to be reported, right? So these kind of things can be done in terms of alerts. These kind of things can be managed at the alert level. Now alerts may have different mechanism, immediate alert or those alerts as well. If the number of alerts are more than, let's say, 10, 15, right? So you can define the threshold, and those alerts can be combined, and in a consolidated fashion, it can be sent in the evening to the reporting manager or to the admin, right? Then you do have data retention policies, right? Whatever data that we are gathering over a period of time, right? Whether those data should be kept for 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. Now that is something that depends entirely on the subscription type, right? Thereafter, you do have snapshot retention policies. So all these are something time based. Thereafter, you do have people admin. From this section, you can see all the people, right? So total people are 92, active are 92 right now, inactive 0, tracked 74, right? All these people, right? So it is list of all those people where agents are installed, right? Primarily where the data collection is happening. Primarily around these people, we can let you know that boss, this is the time that they are spending on productive application. This is this much is the time on any given day these people are spending on unproductive application. This is the time that they are idle. Idle primarily means their bandwidth may be available, right? So around these people and how these people have been onboarded, onboarding of the people in this solution can happen via two ways. One is via email invitation, right? Invitation can be sent if the demo team can open this add person. So you can see a form opens, and then after providing certain basic information, right? The person can be onboarded, right? Email can be sent, and that person, with the help of an IT guide, or that can be a self-help as well. It is not that complex, right? So one is inviting the person via email, and another way can be that we can put up certain basic information, and thereafter have an agent in place, and via pen drive or some mechanism, right? We can install the application in the individuals' laptops, and that's how they get onboarded. Once they get onboarded, right, you can see all the information at the user onboarding level itself. We can define what is going to be his role, whether he is going to be a user, whether he is going to be a manager, whether he is going to be a departmental head, or whether he is going to be an admin. Okay, so that kind of categorization, when again whether that user has to be associated with a particular manager, right? So that kind of information, again we can also define what kind of report access that person may have, right? I'm cutting it short because that might take a lot of time. So here you can see all the users, their status, their role in the organization, what kind of laptop that they are using, whether they are being tracked or not, whether right now whether they are online or offline, or if any edit has to be made, that can be made. Now once people setting has been made, right, so you do have team setting. You can see right now in our organization we do have 15 teams, right, that has been configured, like QA team, logistics team, consultant team, project managers team, and so on, right? All 15 are active, 4 are fully configured, and so on. 11 does have missing managers, right? So on, right? Again, the way we onboarded the people, similar way we do have this button called add work group, and we can onboard a work group. Work group is nothing but the teams in team synonym, right? Thereafter, you do have departments. Similarly, on the lines of team onboarding, we can onboard a department as well. As I said in my initial conversation, that you do have hierarchies, organization, departments, teams, and then users, right? Again, this is something completely configurable. You can have 5 hierarchies, 10 hierarchies. That is based on your organization depth and organization numbers, right? Then you have to define workday rules, right? This is going to be pretty much important, that what constitute in on any given day, how many hours do you want, right? There would be certain HR rules that every organization does follow, right? So what constitute half day, what constitute a full day, right? That all you will define, right? Thereafter, what is going to be your working days, right? What is going to be tracking hours, right? Before we get into tracking hours, let us talk about working days, right? So it should not be, it can be Monday to Friday, it can be Monday to Saturday, again depending on your organization philosophy or organization rules, right? Why this is important? Because it should not be that while organization expectation is to measure work from Monday to Friday, but the system is considering that, hey, I have to measure the productivity of a person from Monday to Sunday, right? So that should not be, right? And that's where you have to configure, you have to provide right data at the time of setup itself, right? So you could have seen that start time of the organization, end time of the organization, then you will have tracking, right? So let's say your organization timing is 9 to 6, right? But for how long do you want the device to be tracked, right? So that is something that you would like to be you would like to define here, and thereafter if there are certain break mechanism you can define in this section. By having these definitions here, again you are instructing system that, hey system, you have, means we have handed over laptop to our people for entire 7 days. However, you have to track during these working hours only. However, you have to track these people only from Monday to Friday, right? So that kind of definition you are providing in these 3 sections. Once this section has been set up, then you have to have a holiday setup. You can drive it from your HR policies again, depending on the organization, depending on the reason. This is something that can differ, right? Again, with the same reasoning that it should not happen, that the system should, even on holiday, system should keep measuring that person's presence as either missing or no inadequate data, this person has not worked. That's why you do have this option called holiday definition. Then you do have something called capture rules. In capture rules, primarily again, tracking has to be enabled or not, then inactivity after how much time device, let's say if someone has stopped working, right, then after how much time the system should start counting that person as inactive, right? Live view and recording. There are multiple kind of settings. I'll not get into the details again because it will consume a lot of time. Thereafter, you do have email notifications. I was talking about violations, right? I was talking about scheduled reports. So scheduled reports or any kind of violation, if at all is happening, right, those are something that can be configured at the email level, that hey, whenever my manager, let's say I am a manager, right, or let's say I am an admin and I want a manager to receive reports, certain KPIs every evening, right? Those kind of settings can be done at this level. Violation reports again can be done, managed at this email notification level itself. Then you do have additional settings. In additional settings, primarily again, where all right now all kind of storage, whatever data that is being stored, right, for organization who have taken these subscription, that is happening at our level, right? However, organizations will be given option if they want to do it at their own level, manage the storage at their own local on-premise level, or if they do have taken any kind of subscription from any of the Google Workspace or Azure or Google, right? From our side, integration is completed, right? They can come up with their keys and they can configure right here without our help, and whatever screenshot that is being captured, right, or whatever data that this tool is gathering, right, thereafter it will be retained at that place, right? Then you do have audit logs, primarily whatever your admins, you may have, your organization might have more than one admin, right? So whatever one admin or one manager, if you have enabled your manager to make certain changes, let's say with respect to a colleague that he or she is working, right? So whatever changes that he or she would be making, or whatever changes that admin would be making with respect to any employee, all those will be part of your audit logs. Thereafter, liveliness check. These are actually very rare cases where if the platform is being tampered, right? Probably again about this, we can talk on a later occasion in a very detailed manner, but right now I can end by saying if platform is being tampered in any manner, right, then those kind of things is something that can be tracked here by any user, right? So with this, I think we will get into another section called work insights, work leisure, and all those stuff. From here onwards, my colleague Prithvi will take over, right? So Prithvi, if you can come. So in work leisure, all three, just yes.
Okay, so good evening, everybody. Am I audible there at the back? Okay, So thank you Chandan for and Ajit for helping us understand how do we configure organization, right? So how this tool can be fit into any organization for that matter, right? Let's say we work in IT industry. Tomorrow, let's say there is a company who only does call center job. How do we provide context to this application, right? There are few key aspects, like for example, if you notice this option, download agent, right? So this option, can you help me navigate there? Okay, so this app supports for both Android, Mac OS and Windows, right? So it's just that we have to install this application in those devices. And the very next moment, what happens? The admin portal, what we have here. Just a second. Yeah. So let me take an example of our organization, right? So how do we provide context to this application? First, we need to define the development team, what all activities tools they track. Then we have to define, basically consultants may use different applications, development team may use different applications, QA team may use different applications, and basis that we have to create organization structure, departments and teams, and yeah. So now, as soon as I log in as an admin to this dashboard, what do I see? So generally, this is what the leadership team will use, or let's say a management team will use, right? For example, so this is what we see as this is what. Can you open this once? Okay, so work lecture. Yeah, close that. Close that. Yeah, you can close that. Yeah. So here we have an option. Either I can look as an individual employee, or I can look as a teams, right? For example, if I want to look for a specific team, all I have to do is I have to click on all the developers. It should it shows various options like average focus time, teams working time, and average last seen time. And this also can be customized according to our view, right? For example, currently we show it in a day wise, right? If we want, we can also look for weeks wise, and generally this application tracks for, let's say, last 7 days or 8 days of information. And we also have various metrics here. For example, can you switch to one user, specific user, please? You can. Okay. So now we have selected Aryan Matthew as an user. So today I don't think there's a start time notice there. Maybe this user is not active today, right? And sorry. Can you switch to some different user where you have an actual value? Okay, let's say I is Anshul, right? So the start time was 10:09 a.m. and working time was, let's say he has spent around 5 hours, 8 minutes on the system. Last seen was 15, like 5 o'clock 37 minutes, which means after this he was inactive, right? And focus time is nothing but the app that we register into this application. Let's say if I take an example of a developer uses tools like Git, VS Code, and email, all other applications. And similarly, if you take an example of consultants, they may use some different sort of applications, right? For example, documents, Excel, etc. Basis that application tracks per department wise or per team member wise, right? So now in this case, if you see, we have simple dashboard here which shows the focus time, the distracted time. Distracted time is nothing but there are some non-productive applications that they might be using, right? So this gives a clear view to the leadership or an executive person or a project manager, etc. Let's say, right? So now also this shows the top 5 websites or applications that we have used as per today, right? If I switch it to week, I think this might show the week top 5 applications that we use. Okay. Yeah, we have some additional dashboard here which shows work hours. For example, Ayush Ansul has spent 5 man days this week, and his working average hours is around 8 hours. And similarly, we also have productivity split, right? How do we identify productivity split? If an app which was configured as productive application, then that app is considered as productive. And let's say if some employee tries to play some game or anything like that, in such cases, application will easily understand basis the kind of context we have given it to it, right? Now, let's say if I am a project manager, right? In that case, I want to look after my team. Like, what is the productivity of my team this week, or what is the productivity of my specific projects team this day, right? In such cases, what I'll do, I'll have to just click on teams, and here it shows all the teams that we have configured or given as a context to this application, right, which Chandan was highlighting a while ago. So let's say we have, these are the development team. If I just click on this, the application shows, can you scroll up the click? Full down. Yeah. So as per this team, it shows the overview, which is like average focus team of all the developers we have here, right? And team working time, average last seen, and team members. So there are 15 team members. Average last seen was 2359, and team working time was, let's say, 34.3. Okay. So can you switch to day, please? Yeah. So today, if we see this, the dashboard, it shows the realistic time. The average focus time was, let's say, 4.37. And if you also see daily work mix, right, it shows the simple bar chart where you can see the focus time was so and so, and inactive time was, inactive is nothing but user is away from their machine, right? So now if we go to presence log, this shows the actual presence as per today, right? So there are 11 developers who are present and 4 members are absent. So this is a simple SLA or dashboard. It shows on a high level, and also this shows detailed analysis of each and every user who has been tracked, right? For example, what was the active session, what was the time spent, what was the focus time, etc. Right? Yeah, we can go to time adjustment. Okay, so there are some cases where, let's say, an individual has to travel to customer location, or let's say there is some meeting going on, offline meeting. In such cases, we also have to track whether that activity what they are doing is a productive or not. In such cases, there is an ad hoc option where manually an admin can go and create or add manual adjustments, right? For example, let's say in this case, let us take an example of any user. Open that. Okay, so these are some predefined options we have configured, which can also be tweaked later in time. So let's say, can you give any sort of reason? Okay, so basically what it does, since every activity is tracked from the system front, what if there are some offline activities which are considered as productive? In such cases, we have to define those details here, and once we submit, this sends an approve notification to respective manager who can approve or reject. And basis that, our dashboard, SLA, everything will get updated, right? Now, if I switch to work patterns, okay, so this is a simple calendar view which shows active session time. Again, basis the time what we select on the above, right? Let's say if I want to see on a day basis, or if I want to see, let's say, on weekly basis, in such cases I can switch it, and this dashboard can also be shown for an individual, or it can also be shown for a specific team, right? Can you switch to teams once? Okay, so these are list of teams that we have configured as of today. Now, if I switch to, let's say, a developers team, this shows the complete overview or dashboard of all the developers who are part of that particular team, right? Okay, so can you? Yeah. Yeah. Now let us see what is work inside. So basically, this is the place where all the ledger or the activities are tracked and maintained. In this, let's say if we try to understand what this dashboard shows us, inside trends is nothing but what was the working time today, what was the focus time. Focus time is nothing but, let's say, if a developer is using a tool like VS Code, or let's say an IDE, or any tool for that matter where we say these are productive tools for developer. So basis that, system will analyze and display a value here wherein you can understand what was the focus time, what was the distracted time, what was the unclassified time, and also there is a small dashboard which shows productivity split, right? What was the focused time that the whole, currently I think we have selected Aaron Matthews, right? So it shows the productivity time for this user, and what was the unclassified. When I say unclassified, let's say I visit or install some new application which was not part of my configuration. In such cases, what system does, it identifies, hey, there is a new website that this person is visiting, or there is new application that this person has installed. Then admin will get to know what was that application, what was the website. In such cases, we can identify and mark it as productive or non-productive, right? Okay, and there is a small option here for admin where let's say these days people try to use a dark mode or different themes for that matter, right? In such cases, admin can go and switch between views. So we have provided few options here wherein I can switch and see the different views, dark mode, night mode, etc. If required, let's say if you want to tweak it to your organization needs, in such cases we can also go and define custom color code here, right? As soon as you do this, whole application look and feel will get changed to that color accordingly. Yeah. Can you switch to this? Okay, this is the section where we see the kind of websites, apps, categories, or the kind of event that system logs or generates, right? For example, what are all the website applications that our employee base have visited today, right? So this shows all the website applications. For example, there was an Outlook app which was spent throughout especially for RN Matthews, right? Can you also switch to Teams here? Yeah. Yeah, so now we have switched it to a consultant view where we can see if we have 7 users who are consultant in our organization, what are all apps or visits or links they are visiting to, right? For example, there's a different categorizations which application shows. One is the website usage, right? And second one is app usage. Okay, so I don't think we have any custom app installed today, right? Then you have usage categories. There isn't data for this. Can you switch to an individual user? Okay, so basically we have categorized different websites, applications, or different apps, right, in various categories. For example, as an admin configuration, we can go define which are all those applications which comes under communication. For example, Teams, Outlook, etc., right? And tools, for example, development related tools, those we can be configured as development section. Uh, and basis that, this will show a small analysis report where it shows what was the CRM tools, what was the development tool, what was the communication tool, etc. Yeah, yeah. I think we have seen how a leadership team or an management team can go and visit the dashboard and view the system. And I think next maybe Chandan will take it forward from here. Thank you very much.
So far, Prithvi, means I was talking about primarily, I talked about how companies, how teams, how individuals are onboarded. And so far in 3 tabs that Prithvi has taken you guys into in terms of work leisure, work insight and activity stream, where you guys would have seen so far that at different levels, that is at individual level, at teams level, and then at department level, how data is gathered, right? And the kind of insights that we talked about, those were equally important. So far, just to re-emphasize, if the demo team can get into, let's say, in the leisure, work leisure itself, right? We talked about focus time, we talked about distracted time, we talked about idle time, we talked about all these data's points, right, at different levels, right? And if we try to measure so far itself, we would have talked around 50 data points, right? We are still to go dive deeper into this solution, but it was just a re-emphasis, right? Then we also saw into the activity stream, right, at the organization level, what all datas, what all website, what all application that is being used, how much time that is being spent on each applications, right? To be honest, when we were using this application and when we started using this application, when we started analyzing the app uses, a day I was literally horrified when I saw the kind of uses on a particular application, that is Teams, that was happening. 36, I exactly measured 36% of our entire organizational time was being spent into the Teams meeting. So with that help of the data, we literally had to go back to each team. We had to analyze the participant list of participant. We had to literally decide a strategy that, boss, if 5 people are getting into a meeting or 7 people are getting into the meetings, right? Are those 7 people really necessary? Are those 5 people really necessary, right? So when you get these kind of insights, these insights ultimately help you in decision making, right? Now that being said, let us get into visibility hub. Visibility hub primarily gives you insights again at 3 levels, that is in user level, teams level and organization level. You can see here when I click on employees, you have on the left hand side, you do have list of all the employees that has been onboarded into this solution, right now I can see, I think some 92 people has been onboarded, where on the left hand side of the screen, if you can see, 24 agents are live, right? Then if I click on any of the employee, I can actually see, although I should not be exposing these kind of data into this live manner, if we can change the screen, right, I can keep talking about the screen. So whatever screens that you just saw, right, that was nothing but with respect to a particular employee, right, his historical data, right? It can be taken, historical snapshot can be taken per minute, every 3 minutes, every 5 minutes, 10 minutes, depending on your organization call, right? So one thing again in terms of feature that it provided you is historical snapshot, right? Then the data retention policies are something that can be again based on the subscription type that can be agreed upon. The next best thing that this solution does offer is live screen. So at any given time, a given point of time, as I was talking into my previous conversation as well, the way traditionally we have been seeing as a CCTV admin on our large TVs, various areas that is being captured by CCTV. On the similar fashion, you can see all your teammates. If you are a manager handling a team of 7 people and your organization through this solution has enabled live screen viewing of the people, then you can see the live screen. Okay, right now you can see in this section, I think 15 people are live, and that's why this number into the pinned view, right, that is showing 15 live screens, right? Here, whatever users that are marked in green, right, those users are live, right? And whatever users that are marked in gray, those users are actually offline, right? So those are the things into the live dashboard. Again, this is something that you can see at the employee level. At the if you have to go at the user level, if you have to see, so I can see just I can just need to hover over that particular user called Aryan Matthews, right? It showed me some basic data with respect to that user, and thereafter it is showing a small screen, and when that small screen will be clicked on, right, it will redirect me to full screen, and I can, as a, let's say, manager, I can sneak peek into what work actually is going on, right? That is, again, this is something that is based upon the organizational policy, whether as an organization you want to take these kind of features or not, right? Thereafter, you do have at the teams level as well, you do have these kind of views. You can get into a particular team. You can see in this AI team, you do have 2 people who have been onboarded, right? One particular person is right now live, and his screen is looking something like that, right? Then you do have in the people section. People section has already been talked about in the admin section itself, where you will have visibility of all those people, right, who has been onboarded, and from here itself admin gets control of adding the people, right? Again, how people can be added, how employees can be onboarded, that is something that already has been talked about, right? If we can get into these 3 dots, there are various features, like if a person has been onboarded, right, if the password has to be reset, if he has to be forced logged out, right, or if he has to, if his laptop has been changed, right, then in that case new agent has to be installed. In that case, reissue install link has to be given. Or if the installation method is where the admin wants to physically install the agent into the laptop of the individual, then this option called agent installation can be used, right? A lot of things are not there to explain. This section has already been explained, right? Here you can click on a particular employee, you can edit the details, you can delete the details, you can associate him with a manager, right? You can change the manager, you can associate him or her with respect to particular predefined teams and all those stuff. So that is something that you can do from here itself. Then user level configuration. I was in my previous conversation, I was also talking about that, hey, whatever policies that you are making, right, these policies can be overridden from level to level. One example that we talked about, that some application while may be unproductive at org level, but at department level as an organization we will have to make it productive. Some application or some website which can be unproductive at, let's say, teams level, but I'll have to provide exception to a particular user. Okay, so to handle those kind of situation, we do have whatever configuration that we had done at the company level, similar configuration we can do at the department level, similar configuration we can do at the teams level, and similar configuration, keeping those exception cases into mind, right, we can do at the user level as well. And that's the view that right now you are seeing, that the demo team would have clicked on a particular user, right, and then these options like user configuration, setting up his or her working hours, right, and setting up his or her holidays. So just to cater to those exceptional circumstances where certain policies which are applicable at the org level, but a particular team, maybe let's say their working hours needs to be changed, right? So to cater to those kind of situations, we do have those kind of hierarchy that has been created here, right? Then you do have work group. Work group is nothing but the teams. You can see all the teams here, right? Their managers, how many members, what is their status. Then if team has to be edited, you can edit from here. Whatever configuration again that we were seeing right now at the user level, those are visible at the teams level as well, right? Then you can just remove this, right? We can get into devices, right? Now devices are nothing but, again, it is showing the association of a particular user with a laptop, with a device, right? So you can see right now various names and which device that they are associated with, right? If tomorrow the device is changed, right, the same user will have to be assigned with another agent, right? So in that case, device and all these stuff will change. What version of the agent is installed, what OS operating system that person is using, right? What is their status, how their logs would look like, right? And if that particular device, right, has to be revoked, right, it can be revoked from here, and then another license can be provided, right? So those kind of, if this report has to be exported to be submitted to the IT team, that kind of provisions as well we do have. Now if we can quickly get into time off. Now time off is nothing but here we can see uh, all the leave details, right? Now this might intrigue many of the people, that what is this time off option doing here? Time off is nothing but kind of giving users option of applying leaves, right? Now you might question that this is a HRMS function, right? Leaves are something that is applied into the HRMS, isn't it, right? However, this functionality is pretty much important here as well, because as I said that, hey, one thing that we did not talk about, that if at every individual level, at every team's level, organization needs to define expected number of hours, right? If we are dealing with development team, it might be more number of hours, because development team or IT teams continuously works on the laptop, while if we are talking about, let's say, some another team which whose job is limited to the laptop, not so fixated to the laptop, right? In that case, we'll have to give some concession to them, because this tool measurement is limited to the laptop only, right? So you need to define that, hey, from this role on a daily basis, on a monthly basis, on a weekly basis, what is the expected productivity goal, right? So that is something that needs to be defined, right? Now, coming back to the point where I was trying to highlight that why time off is mentioned here. So the measurement should be correct, right? A person who is absent on a particular day, his productivity data will not be captured on that particular day, and that's why you do have time off section, where whosoever person is on leave, right, that person need to be marked as being on leave, right? So the option that we can give to the entities who are going for this subscription, that probably this section can be integrated with their HRMS, so that if there are people are applying for the leave, that leave will automatically reflect here, so that for that day This system, that is Util Pulse, does not consider that person absent, right? So that is particularly about time off. You do have holiday calendar, you do have leaves rules. Again, as extension, when we'll talk about this product roadmap, the product roadmap constitutes probably over a period of time we'll get into HRMS development on this custom solution. The people who already know, we already have an HRMS, but that is platform specific. We'll try to have that HRMS because this solution is pushing now us to go towards that extension as well. Okay, so that is something that we'll talk into the product roadmap, and that's where you see the time off option, and then you do have email section. Email section is nothing, whatever alerts or violation that we talked about earlier, right? So that alerts and violation has to be sent to either managers or to the admins, right? So all those emails will be visible, whatever emails that system is triggering either at the event or either in the evening or the scheduled reports, all those emails will be visible here. Then control center we already have talked about. So this pretty much when it comes to data collection, right? Data collection has already happened with respect to all the users at the teams level, at the department level. Now I'll hand over the baton to our Chief Growth Officer, Anand, who will take us through the reports and dashboard.
Oh,
welcome, Anand.
thank you, Chandan. Thank you so much. That was a good one. I'm not sure if I will go technical, but let me tell you, there's been a lot of talk about data, right? And if you looked at it, there are various data points. There are about close to 200 data points that are being captured, right? But the point is, what does it mean? What does it mean for your customer? How does Util Pulse help you there, right? How do business stakeholders take decision? Okay, how do you consume this data which is there, right? So this is where it comes to reports. Over the next 3 to 4 minutes, sorry, it was 5 to 7, but I did it 3 to 4. I would like to dwell on reports, what are scheduled reports, and of course look at the AI part. So for people who are online, stay on for another 10 minutes. The best is yet to come. As they said, picture abhi baki hai mere dost, right? So let's go to reports, right? What are reports? I mean, you have all this data which is coming. It's from the same organization. It depends on the role that you're in, you consume the data. It's the same data. How do you slice? How do you dice it, right? If I was a CEO, I would look for trends in the organization. If I'm a HR person, I would look at engagement. I would look at availability of people, right? So let's take a look at a CEO leadership dashboard report. Yeah, so if you look at it, a CEO is typically looking at how productive have people been, right? What is the trend that is going on a week-on-week basis? What is the kind of team overview that is there? Which teams are performing better? What is the productivity which is happening there? If you could scroll down. Also, very, very important aspect is looking at what is the expected versus actuals, what is the deviation there, what is the minutes of idle time which is there over time, or or total history, the whole thing which is there. Of course, if you can just quickly Ritvik scan through, we have a lot of other reports which are available at an organization leadership level. We are talking of the CEO level. Now let's take a look. It's just not about a CEO level. There are different people consuming the same data. HR consumes it in a different way. They look at how departments are performing, right? How are they looking at what is the weekly trend which is going on, the availability report. You're looking at the workload balance, which is very, very important today. HR is just not looking at how many people are working. They're also looking at what the burnout is, which team is doing that. Now, when you look at a team lead that way, right? When you go to a team lead, you look at it, they're looking at, hey, if my team is, what are the apps that they're using? Is it a productive app, right? Is there something new that they're using? Is that there? And of course, they're also looking at productivity risk watch list. So there are various other parameters which are down there, right? There are apps that distract you at work. So they're also looking at that, right? I'm not saying that, I mean, in this case, these are the apps that are distracting, but for your organization, there could be something else which is distracting. It is like a sales guy not using LinkedIn is not a distracting app. It is actually an app he has to be on. So you could configure that way. Now, for every stakeholder, whether it is a CEO, whether it is a manager, whether it's a department head, whoever is there, right? They all look at reports. They want to look at it at various different points in time. Someone wants to look at it on a daily basis. Someone wants to look at it before a meeting, before a review meeting and things like that. That's all fine. That's all available here, right? But typically people like to look at reports on a certain given point of a day, right? That's where comes the scheduled reports. Now I can schedule my report. If I'm a manager, I would like to look at how my team is performing and I want it weekly once. So here you have scheduled reports where you have the entire configuration, all the data coming to your mailbox at a scheduled set time which is there. So that's where you look at, you take action, and it is basically to have every decision maker to have the right data point which is there, right? And the other way that scheduled reports help, right, is to build a rhythm of review, right? When you do it constantly, there's something called as cadence that we do every Monday. If you have a cadence, right, that's where accountability comes in. That's where your continuous improvement kicks in. So this is not something that you say that, with Util Pulse, you can, it'll result in continuous improvement. But the point is, if you use it regularly, continuous improvement happens. That's typically where it is. Now let's come to the main part, and probably something that's very, very interesting is with regard to the AI. The AI assistant, of course, if you look at Util Pulse, right, and look at the AI part, now Util Pulse starts behaving less like a dashboard and more like a business advisor. Today, when anyone is looking at any data in the organization, right, it is data points, it's data sets, whatever you said. But can I get some business intelligence out of it? That's where this comes in, right? Many times leaders have to go for a meeting and they want to quickly have an answer. They don't want to probably go to their email. They don't want to go and set the date, say, I want this. Can I just go there in natural language, right? And type in a command saying that, okay, let's look at a manager view. Let's look at, tell me how many users have had less active time but high working time. All right. So that's AI at work. It's looking at all the data which is in the system, which is being captured, and throwing up a result in terms of the thing. It's just not about a representation of the data which is available there. It is also, since it's AI, it is also smart enough to throw you something which says, if you want to look at Aryan's detail breakdown, if you could click on that, so you typically have what is the data there. So it will also prompt you smartly as to what else can you look with regard to the context of what you really asked. So you have data that's always there. Now the point is, if I am a manager, right, of 10 people in a project, there are guardrails set that I will get data only pertaining to my role. So it is not that, I will put a query and get a CEO's result. No, the guardrails are set, and it is all dependent on how your organization wants to expose data to a certain role. Let's take a look at a CEO's view. Gia, if you can just take us through that. Which team has the highest idle time this month? All right, there you have a comparison of all the data that's there, and all you're doing is in natural language. You didn't go click any report, you didn't click any data, you didn't click anything saying this is a role, but here's what your organization data throws up. So let me say this, right, with regard to AI. For modern organization, workforce productivity is no longer just a HR metrics. It's not a metrics from there. It is about how I'm looking at my business performance, right? That's typically where it is. I wish I could have spent more time, but the point is we're going nowhere, right? We've already started using this system. We'll be more than happy to work with all of you. And if I could have the call to action slide, please. All right. So, well, you can scan this, right? This will be there for a minute, or you can reach any one of us. You can chat with us on online and let us know. We would be more than happy to work with you, work with your organization, to do a pilot, to define what it is. No matter if you're using something else, which is probably 1/10 similar to what you've seen, right? Take a look at what can be that extra 90% which is there. With this, I would like to say thanks to everyone, and a special thanks to Ritvik and Gia, who've been behind the scene and doing all this magic. When we say, do this, and these are the ones who are doing it. With this, let me turn it on to Ajit. Ajit, to closing, and thank you.
Okay. Thank you everyone. Chandan, Prithvi, Anand, Kiran. Uh, just one thing I would like to highlight at the last. While of course this is a product which we thought we would be using, and I told you earlier itself, we have received a lot of feedback from a lot of our existing customers and partners, and we are also going full-fledged in the market. We would like to hear more from you. We would like to capture all of your suggestions so that this product becomes one of the generic one which any organization can utilize. Like we are experiencing that work for intelligence in our hand today on the throw of a chat. Every analytics is coming to us. We are super interestingly can say that, hey, this is something which you would also require in your organization. This would be something which would be helping your team also in analyzing where actually effort is being spent, where my team is currently over there. I have worked with multiple businesses in the past. I have heard things like mostly in supply chain logistics and all. Hey, is there a possibility I can get to know on a dashboard where is my this person in the field? Okay. There were times when I also had the same feeling. Instead of going through a list of 100 people in our organization and trying to understand that what all people have 8 hours of job, 10 hours of job, or 12 hours of job, okay, is there a possibility I can put a query to a chatbot and ask who are the people available for this kind of job? Okay, and these kind of problems are being solved by these tools, at least in our organization today. Tomorrow we will strive towards how our existing clients can get help from these kind of tools, and most welcome with all of your feedbacks. I have seen some of the comments from some of the prospective clients on our YouTube channels. We would respond to each of those questions. We encourage you to give us more points from your side so that this could become that enhanced product which you can really utilize, and it also gives you ROI on different factors. Thanks a lot. Thank you everyone. Have a very good weekend.
Thank you, Ajit. I think with that we kind of come to a formal end to this product launch. However, if there are any questions, we'd like to take them. There is one online question from Kumari. I hope this is not Kumari from Utilitarian Labs. Why should an organization choose this product over its existing solution? What is the biggest unique value this product brings compared to competitors? I think it's a very valid question. If they're already using a productivity tool, why should they change? Why should they come to Util Pulse is the question. I think I would say, I don't know, should I answer this? Or as Chandan comes, I would say, see, we have focused heavily on balancing organizational visibility with employee trust. One. Two, many tools gives you activity reports. We have gone beyond activity reports. We try to bring in a lot of intelligence into these reports, which helps the managers, leadership to take those strategic decisions in terms of the value addition that AI brings into these tools. So I think that's a big value addition that we bring in, along with the activity report, which every other tool probably is giving today. Yes, Chandan.
I can use your mic. It's okay. You stay
Yeah,
closer
yeah.
to me. Okay. Okay. So see, I'm not a business guy, so I'll not be able to. No. This much closer. As I said, that I'm not a business guy to be able to respond with such heavy loaded words. because I have been in product design, okay, and we have studied a lot of competition, right? A lot of competitors' features, okay. When we'll get into the demo, whosoever, I think somebody Kumari, right? And again, repeating the same thing. It's hope it's not our Kumari, right? Okay, so because it needs to be responded, right? So a lot of AI features we have. One such feature in terms of reporting, Anand sir already would have shown to you guys. Then when it comes to classification, a lot of manual classification, whichever, and this is a cue that we are giving to another competitors, right? Uh, most of the companies that are there with this kind of offering in last 2 years, their classification rules are still limited to manual processes. Okay, and we have tried to eliminate that. A lot of such classification where every day admin's time, an hour of admin's time at the end of every day goes, right? We have tried to eliminate, right? If earlier on to competitors website, if let's say a competitor's product, right, if 100 hours has to be spent just for the classification, I can guarantee you we can reduce it by 70 to 80%. So that kind of guarantee. So this is just two examples that I have tried to highlight. There are multiple things in terms of value addition that we have done. When we get into demos, we will give you a walkthrough around that.
Thank you, Chandan. Just to summarize, why Util Pulse? I think most organizations, what they do is, they currently work based on assumptions. We try to move away from assumptions to visibility. We try to give them data, we try to give them inputs so that they can move away from assumptions and take those strategic decisions. Util Pulse is not built for micromanagement. It is not designed to create a culture of fear. The goal is not surveillance. The goal is clarity. It is designed to create responsible workforce intelligence. This is a new method of measuring revenue generation. I think today most companies are interested. See, productivity is nothing but equal to revenue generation. Lower the productivity, lower the revenue. So I think for the leadership team, this is a tool which will help them to improve their revenue generation. And we look at it as a tool which will help the leadership to improve their revenues across teams, across projects, across the floor. So that's the entire value addition that we bring in Util Pulse. I would also like to add two things. We built Util Pulse to help improve productivity, not to answer the eternal question of where the last 2 hours disappeared after opening LinkedIn, WhatsApp, and Outlook at the same time. There is a manager's dream, right? Every manager wants visibility. Correct? Every manager wants visibility. Every employee wants flexibility. Isn't it? Every employee wants flexibility. Every laptop wants a break. At Util Pulse, we try to bring all three things into one and give it as a package. That's our effort. So that employees happy, managers are happy, and your laptop is also happy. Thank you all for joining us today. We hope Util Pulse helps organizations spend less time wondering what happened to productivity and more time on rewards and the results. Thank you. Thank you once again, all of you.